Halloween is fast approaching and we want to make sure that your fur baby is ready for the holiday. Today I want to talk to you about Halloween costumes, decorations, and scary noises. So let's start off with what to do when picking a costume for your fur baby. Keep in mind about what is on that costume. Are there small buttons? Are there bangles? Is there things on there that might get your pet to want to eat that item or play with that item? We don't want your Halloween costume to cause a foreign body, which essentially is when they ingest something and they are unable to pass it through their GI tract. Make sure that your costume doesn't restrict their vision or their hearing or their smell. Dogs in particular really rely on their senses, so they might become more scared or fearful if they can't use one of their senses. Also, if their vision is restricted, they're more likely to run into things, not be able to orient themselves properly. We want to make sure that the fit is a good fit. We don't want it to be too snug around the neck. We don't want it to be too restrictive around the chest, restricting their ability to breathe. We also don't want it to be so big that they're tripping over their costume. Costumes should be lightweight. We don't want the weight of the costume to be too heavy for your dog. Never leave your pet alone in the costume. They could get tangled up in it and not be able to get out of it, might panic. They might ingest part of it without you knowing, and then, like we had talked before, cause a foreign body. Watch your pet for any signs of stress. If your pet is in their costume, you want to watch their body language. At any time, is their body language saying that they're uncomfortable in their costume? At any time, is their body language telling you that they are stressed about being in their costume or fearful of their costume? If those are the cases, then you want to take that costume off. We don't want to force them into a situation that makes them uncomfortable. If there's a particular part of their costume that your pet doesn't like, for instance, if you're dressing your pet up as a unicorn and they don't necessarily like the wings that come with it, or the wings that come with it are scary, you can eliminate that from the costume. Just because it comes as a piece of the costume does not mean that you have to use that part of the costume. If that part of the costume is scary, then don't use it. So we're going to talk about desensitizing your dog to their costume. Let your pet wear their costume for about 5 minutes at a time, giving them lots of praise and yummy treats while wearing the costume. Then next time it's going to be 10 minutes that they're going to wear it with lots of praise and so on and so forth. We're going to do this until your pet can wear their costume for an hour while being praised and treated. We want them to feel like their costume is something good. It's a positive experience. Teach your children not to chase after your pet while they're in their costume. Don't let them get too loud or get into the face of the pet while they're in their costume. Their costume should be a positive experience, and this is something that we shouldn't allow our kids to do either way, whether the pet's in the costume or not. We should teach your kids to be mindful of your pet's personal space. Another thing we want to practice with ahead of time is to have yourself and your children dress up in your own costumes and get the dog used to you being dressed up. The dog is not used to you being in a certain costume or having a mask on or any of these things. So we're going to do the same thing that we did with their costume, only now you're wearing your costume. Now let's talk about decorations. So when we first bring home our decorations or get them out of storage, when we're first introducing them, we're just going to lay them out on the floor and allow our pet to investigate. We're going to let them sniff them, kind of play with them, let them know that there's nothing to be harmed. If it seems like they're fearful, we'll go ahead and reward them the closer they get to the decoration. Once your pet is comfortable with the decorations and they've just kind of been laid out in the house for a little while, then we're gonna hang them up. And even though they got comfortable with them when they weren't hanging, now that they are hanging up, that's gonna change things. So we wanna make sure that this is a positive experience. If the pet is in the room when we hang it up, as we're hanging up, we're gonna say, it's okay, and give rewards. Everything's fine, everything is normal. So we wanna desensitize our pets to scary noises around Halloween. We do this much in the same way that we would for thunderstorms. So we're gonna play scary noises on our devices for about 5 minutes at the lowest volume. And then we're gonna increase it to 10 minutes, so on and so forth, until you can do it for about an hour. Then we're gonna increase the volume, but we're gonna go back to that 5 minutes. And then we'll slowly increase it, and you'll do that so on and so forth until they are desensitized to these scary noises. The key to Halloween is we want our fur babies to feel safe and secure in their own home and within their costume. So these are some tips and tricks that you can do ahead of time to help your dog feel more comfortable around Halloween time. We talked about Halloween costumes and how to desensitize your dog to them, as well as properly fit your dog into their Halloween costume. We talked about decorations and how to make your pet comfortable with the decorations. We also talked about scary noises and how to make your dog feel more comfortable with the scary noises around Halloween. Make sure you check out my next video that will be released in a couple of weeks that talks even more about the day of Halloween. Should you take your dog trick-or-treating or not? Make sure you watch that video to find out. If you liked this video, make sure you give it a good thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you hit that bell to subscribe, and we'll see you next time at Barker Canine Academy.